Revealed, the heartwarming 5-year journey of transformation that left a millionaire in tears. In the shadows of a high-rise in downtown Atlanta, August Trent was living a life that sparkled on the outside but felt like a hollow shell within. A self-made millionaire, he was the envy of many, swimming in luxury cars and lavish parties. But as he stood on the balcony of his penthouse, staring out over the shimmering skyline, he found himself teetering on the edge of despair. The city that sparkled like diamonds beneath him felt more like a prison than a paradise. He had everything and yet nothing. It all changed one fateful morning when he stumbled upon an old, tattered book in a dusty second-hand store. The book, hidden under piles of forgotten trinkets, bore the title, Hope's Journey. Intrigued, August flipped it open, and the first thing that caught his eye was a weathered photograph of a little girl. Her eyes shone with an innocence so rare, it sent a bolt of something through him, a feeling he hadn't dared to welcome in years. He felt a strange pull, as if the girl were beckoning him, and he bought the book on a whim. For weeks, August became obsessed with the mysterious girl and her story. Every page turned unveiled a series of surreal coincidences and strange occurrences. It was as though the universe had tied their fates together in a way that defied all logic. He read about her struggles, her undying spirit, and every challenge that threatened to break her. There was a riddle woven into the book's pages, hinting at a hidden treasure linked to her 7-year journey from a dilapidated orphanage to pursuing her dreams. Then, on a rainy Tuesday afternoon, as thunder rumbled ominously above, August received a cryptic message that sent chills racing down his spine. "The girl's fate depends on you," it read. Before he could catch his breath, he felt a tightness forming in his chest. Who was this girl? How was he connected to her? A million questions whirled through his mind, but one thought loomed larger than the others. What if he had the power to transform not just his life but hers as well? Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. Days turned into weeks, and the enigma of the little girl consumed him. August soon discovered that her name was Lila, and for every clue he uncovered, a connection began to form. The weight of desperation in the orphanage where she lived clung to him like fog on a summer morning. With every detail he gathered, he felt a rising urgency. Time was running out. He was spiraling deeper into a quest that felt impossible. What kind of treasure lay waiting for him, and how could it possibly lead to that girl? As August drove deeper into the mysteries surrounding Lila, he felt the first flickers of vulnerability. His once guarded heart began to mend, brimming with emotions he had long buried. But as the puzzle pieces fell into place, a terrifying revelation struck him. The closer he got to Lila, the more perilous his path became. Everything hinged on finding her before it was too late, but could he uncover the truth hidden within the pages of Hope's Journey before time slipped through his fingers like grains of sand? The winds howled like restless spirits as August sat alone in his sleek, black Maserati. The rain poured down, drowning out the sounds of the city. He rubbed his temples, trying to chase away the fatigue that clung to him. The clues he had amassed felt overwhelming, each representing an unanswered question that twisted in his gut. Suddenly, his phone buzzed violently against the leather seat, vibrational echoes racing against the noise of the rain. It was a new message, from an unknown number. He hesitated, heart pounding, and then unlocked his phone, eyebrows furrowing as he read the words that lit up the screen. Follow the whispers of the past to find her. August's heart raced as a flash of adrenaline coursed through his veins. It was the direction he so desperately needed. He looked out through the rain-smeared windshield, and the lights of Atlanta flickered in the distance. The city felt alive, teeming with secrets, and somewhere amidst it all, Lila was waiting for him. But where? Gripping the steering wheel, determination washed over him. He punched the accelerator, weaving through the streets, the world blurring around him. He thought of her laughter, her courage fueled by the hope contained within the pages of that book. She needed him, and he needed to unravel this puzzle. After what felt like an eternity, he arrived at the old orphanage described in the book, windswept and dilapidated. The building loomed before him like a ghost from the past, with peeling paint and broken windows whispering tales of forgotten children. His stomach twisted as he stepped out into the rain. The old wooden doors creaked ominously, and August felt the weight of the past bearing down on him. He pushed them open and was met with an eerie silence, the air thick with memories. He moved cautiously through the dimly lit hallways, each step echoing his heartbeat like a war drum. He found it the room where she lived. A faded chalkboard still displayed a half-erased drawing of a sun with a smiley face. His chest tightened. It was here that Lila had dreamed of a better life, a brighter future. How many tears were shed in this very space? He stepped closer to the wall lined with photos, gazing at the faces of children, each with stories hiding behind their eyes. His fingers brushed against the wall, skimming over the rough paint, when he spotted something glittering in the corner of the room. Bending down, he unearthed a small, glinting object among the dust, a locket. He opened it to reveal a tiny picture of Lila, her infectious smile radiating innocence. But alongside her photo hung a paper folded tightly. With trembling hands, he opened it. The words were cryptic: "Find the heart that beats in the shadows, and there you will discover the truth." A cold chill raced up his spine. Shadows? What did that mean? Uncertainty flooded his mind. Was there something more to uncover? Time was of the essence, and every second pushed him deeper into an abyss of fear and urgency. Shakily, he stepped back, his thoughts spiraling. Questions consumed him. What was this truth, and how did it tie into Lila's fate? Who was sending him these messages? Stepping out of the orphanage and into the rain-drenched darkness, August felt the pull of something far greater than himself. It was a connection, a duty, a race against time, a heartbeat pulsing within the shadows. He knew he had to push beyond fear to save her. But as he turned to drive away, a chilling thought gripped him tighter than any storm: what if Lila was not the only one in danger? And just like that, a new mystery unfurled in the brooding night, waiting to be unraveled. What awaited him in the shadows? August's heart raced as he slammed the car door shut. The echo of the locket's revelation still rang in his ears as he drove down the winding streets, rain-soaked memories threatening to overwhelm him. The heart that beats in the shadows, the words haunted him, bouncing off the walls of his mind. He needed answers, and he needed them fast. That he navigated the slick roads towards the old library downtown, an enormous structure that had stood for decades, shrouded in tales of mystery and learning. It was said to hold volumes of secrets, and he had a feeling it might harbor more than just dusty books. Just as he parked, the rain intensified, lashing against the windshield, making the whole world feel like a blur. August took a deep breath and stepped into the library. Inside, the smell of aging paper wrapped around him like a comforting embrace, but he was anything but comforted. The ornate fixtures cast long shadows that danced mockingly as he walked deeper into the vast, empty space. A flickering light caught his eye, drawing him to a secluded section filled with local history books. Find the heart. What did that even mean? His mind raced through possibilities, but nothing seemed to fit. He gripped the edge of the wooden table in front of him, grounding himself as panic threatened to consume him. His fingers searched the spines of books, each one a fragment of history, each one a piece of a puzzle. Then he saw it, a tattered book with a faded gold title. The Heart of Shadows. A thrill shot through him, a sense of urgency. He pulled it from the shelf and flipped through the pages, desperately searching for a clue, any clue. As he scanned the text, words leapt out: stories of orphans, of hidden lives connected by shared secrets. One passage stood out, making his breath quicken: in the shadows of the past, the heart beats strongest when shared. August blinked hard, his pulse racing as he reread the line. Could it be about Lila and the others? His thoughts raced. Who else might be connected to this twisted fate? But before he could form a clear plan, the shutter of the library's door opening caught his attention that he turned to see a figure silhouetted against the light pouring in from outside. It was a woman, drenched from the rain, but her expression was one of fierce determination. He squinted, trying to see her face through the dim light and cascading water. "You're looking for answers, aren't you?" she called out, her voice steady amidst the howling winds outside. "You won't find them here." "Who are you?" August demanded, caution tightening his voice. The woman stepped closer, revealing striking features and eyes that sparked with intensity. "I know Lila," she replied, her words dripping with urgency. "And I know what happened to her. You've got to follow me." Before he could respond, she turned and hurried back into the rain. August hesitated, battling his instincts, but the promise of new information tugged at him fiercely. He shot out of the library, chasing her into the storm. "Wait!" he shouted, trying to make sense of the recklessness that drove him forward. What did she know? What was hidden in the shadows? The thunder crackled overhead as her figure slipped around the corner of a nearby alley, and August sprinted after her, desperation fueling every stride that he could almost feel the edges of truth closing in, wrapping him in a web of shadows. She said she knew Lila knew what happened to her. But as August rounded the corner, the alley was empty. Heart pounding, he scanned the desolate space, the rain masking his breaths. She had vanished, just like that a sinking feeling gripped him. Had he just let his chance slip away? Or was this just the beginning of a much larger game? What were the shadows hiding, and how far would August need to dig to uncover Lila's fate? August stood at the mouth of the alley, rain dripping from the tip of his nose. His heart thudded in his chest, a mix of frustration and dread pooling in his stomach. He had been so close. The urge to scream echoed in his head, but he forced himself to take a breath instead. "Get it together," he muttered under his breath, scanning the narrow space. The walls were slick with rain and graffiti, but there were no signs of her. She had come out of nowhere, dropped the bombshell about Lila, and then poof. Gone. He felt the weight of the locket in his pocket. It had been so simple, really. A beautiful object, now a token of uncertainty and chaos. He ran a hand through his hair, feeling the rain mix with sweat. If Lila's fate was intertwined with this mystery, he couldn't afford to falter. He needed a plan, and fast. Turning around, August retraced his steps back to the library's entrance, his mind swirling with possibilities. As he stepped inside, the comforting scent of old books mixed with the dampness of the storm welcomed him once again. He couldn't shake the feeling that the library had more secrets to offer, especially with the book still clutched in his hand that he flipped through the heart of shadows once more, looking for anything he might have missed. Each page felt like a stone waiting to be turned. As he scanned the lines, a sentence caught his eye yet again: "In the shadows of the past, the heart beats strongest when shared." Could it be that the answers lay not just within these pages but within the connections he hadn't explored? Maybe there were others who held pieces of the puzzle too. Just then, a sudden movement drew his attention. A small group of people huddled at the back of the library, their voices low but urgent. August squinted, scanning their faces. One of them had strikingly familiar features, the same high cheekbones as Lila. Tension gripped him tight as he made his way toward them, his pulse racing. "Excuse me," he said, stepping forward. The whispers quieted as three heads turned toward him. "Do you know Lila?" The woman stepped forward, her brow furrowed. "You know her?" "Yes, I'm looking for her." "She's missing," and the man's eyes flickered to the door, and a nervous glance passed between the trio. They exchanged whispers before the woman spoke again. "You should not be here. It's not safe. Not anymore. Not safe." August's heart sank. "What do you mean? Where is she? I need to find her." Suddenly, a loud crash resounded from outside, an ominous sound that shattered the fragile moment. August's heart dropped as a voice shouted from the street, "August! Get out of there! They're coming!" Fear cut through the fog of desperation like ice. Grabbing the woman's arm, he demanded, "Who is coming? What do you know about Lila?" "It's too late," she cried out, her eyes wide with fear. "They've found you." Before he could protest, August turned toward the entrance, his body moving on instinct. He charged toward the heavy oak doors, ready to burst into the storm once more. Dark shapes emerged in the distance, moving closer, threatening to engulf him. Figures cloaked in shadows, thoughts spun wildly. Who were they? Why did they want him? The rain fell harder, but it wasn't enough to douse the fire of urgency ignited inside him. He wanted answers, and he was tired of running. August turned back to the group. "Stay here," he commanded, heart pounding. "I'll find a way out." But as he reached for the door, the shadows pressed in, closing around him like a vice. What awaited him out there? Would he find Lila, or would he plunge deeper into the darkness closing in on him? The door slammed shut behind him, the heavy wood rattling in its frame. Outside, the rain cascaded down like a curtain, creating a cold barrier against the flames of panic rising within him. The figures in the distance drew closer, dark, ominous shapes that danced like phantoms through the storm. August steadied himself, forcing his mind to focus. "Lila," he whispered, as if calling her name could summon her from the shadows that threatened to swallow him whole. He turned his attention back to the trio inside the library, lingering briefly on their expressions of fear and concern. "If they're coming for me, then they know about Lila," he thought. He needed to draw from every ounce of courage and wits he had. "Stay low," he instructed before darting away from the entrance. He ducked behind a row of dusty shelves, his breath quick and shallow. Rain pounded rhythmically against the windows, drowning out the chaos that loomed outside. That he could see the shapes now, 3 figures, cloaked and purposeful. They moved with an eerie synchronicity, each step a promise of dread. Panic pulsed through his veins. They were hunting him, and it felt like the walls were constricting around him. His back pressed against the cold, damp wood as he tried to fight back the rising tide of fear. This couldn't be it. Not now. "August," a whisper crackled through the air, drawing his attention. It was a voice he recognized, but the shadowy shapes outside threatened to drown it out. He glanced back towards the library group. The woman had stepped forward again, eyes wide, offering him a lifeline. "You need to find the book's truth." "What truth?" August hissed back, desperation creeping into his voice. But before she could reply, the door creaked ominously as one of the figures outside pushed it slightly ajar. A gust of wind swept through the library, sending the smell of rain mixed with old pages swirling into the air. August felt the rush of adrenaline and instincts as he bolted into action. That he needed a distraction, a moment to escape. He grabbed a nearby book. With a slight winding motion, he hurled it across the room just as the door swung open fully. The crash echoed, and for a brief instant, all attention shifted to the source of the noise. Heart pounding, August dashed through a side exit, an unmarked door he had spotted earlier. He plunged into a narrow hallway, slick tiles beneath his feet. The adrenaline surged as he sprinted through a labyrinth of bookshelves, dodging towering stacks and tightly packed volumes, hoping to find an exit before he was caught. Think, think. He chanted to himself, every heartbeat thundering in his ears. Linking Lila's fate with the shadowy threat consuming him felt like a thin thread, but it was all he had. He recalled the locket, the heirloom that whispered promises of the past. It wasn't just a matter of finding her, it was about unraveling their shared history and confronting the secret it held. Just then, a loud crash erupted from behind him, the unmistakable sound of heavy footsteps pounding closer. The figures were in the library. Panic turned his sprint into a desperate dash as he burst through another door, emerging into a dim alleyway. The rain soaked him to the bone. That he took a brief moment to catch his breath, pressing his back against the brick wall, eyes scanning for any escape route. The alley stretched out ahead of him, shadows flickering with menacing anticipation. But what he saw next rooted him to the spot, a figure walking towards him through the downpour. A familiar silhouette, framed by the flash of lightning above. "August," she called out, her voice cutting through the storm like a beacon. You need to come with me. His heart raced with a blend of hope and fear as he hesitated. Who was she? Was she friend or foe? Before he could answer, a chilling voice gripped the air. There he is. August's blood ran cold as he turned to see shadows closing in behind him. Would he take the chance with the unknown figure in front of him, or embrace the danger from behind? The choice he faced loomed large as the storm roared around him. The figure stepped closer, illuminated by the flashes of lightning that sliced through the darkness. August's heart raced, caught between the fear of the approaching shadows and the hope that surged within him. Could this woman truly be his salvation? Lila? He dared to call, his voice wavering with uncertainty. As she drew nearer, the contours of her face became clearer, soft features, familiar eyes, but tinged with an urgency he had never recognized before. No, it's not Lila, she replied, shaking her head, panic etched in her brow. I'm Elena. You need to trust me. They're hunting you. We can't stay here. Behind him, the murmurs grew louder, a crescendo of pounding footsteps and dark laughter that twisted his stomach into knots. Who are they? He glanced back, the shapes intensifying their relentless advance. Their cloaks billowed like smoke, menacing and alive, threatening to snuff out any glimmer of hope. It doesn't matter. We don't have time. Elena urged, grasping his arm, pulling him deeper into the alleyway. You need to see the truth in the book. It holds everything. It's the key, August. The book? He struggled to focus, trying to remember the last moments in the library, the cryptic warnings, the torn pages. What on earth was it that could change everything? Just follow me. Elena pressed, dragging him along as the rain lashed around them. They sprinted through the dimly lit alley, the air thick with the sudden implication that they were being surrounded. The silhouettes moved like shadows dancing just beyond their reach. August's heart raced with fear. But where is it? He felt desperation clawing at him. I don't even know where to look. Do you see that? She pointed to a doorway flickering with light at the far end of the alley. That's where we need to go. Hurry. Every instinct screamed at him to resist, but he had no choice. The voices behind were growing closer, chilling the very marrow in his bones. He sprinted alongside Elena, the pounding in his chest merging with the rhythm of the raindrops spiraling around them. Just as they reached the door, the world exploded into a cacophony of sound. Stop! A voice boomed, echoing against the wet pavement. Heavy footsteps thundered in unison. August turned to see the cloaked figures break through the last line of shadows, faces hidden but their intent clear. The door loomed ahead, yet every second felt like an eternity. We can't stop now. Elena shouted again, shoving the door open. They tumbled inside, breathless and desperate. Inside, the warmth enveloped them, contrasting sharply with the chaos outside. The room was filled with shelves crowded with books, their spines flickering like windows into worlds unknown. This is it. Elena exclaimed, urgency igniting in her eyes. We need to find it. What exactly are we looking for? Panic seeped into August's voice as he thrust himself into the dim light, eyes darting across the spines of the countless books. The one about the locket, the truth that can save you both. It's here. She scanned the shelves, grabbing volumes and tossing them aside as if trying to unearth buried treasure, but the thunderous noise outside intensified, a relentless drumroll of impending doom. They'll find us. August cried, fear biting at his heels. Just trust me. Elena insisted, breathless. It's in here. I swear. His pulse raced, the choice looming larger than ever. Would revealing the truth set both of them free, or plunge him deeper into the chaos that surrounded him? As the shadows loomed closer, the familiar chill creeping back into his chest, he felt a flicker of hope amidst the suffocating fear. What if the book holds the secret to breaking the cycle? To saving Lila? But before he could explore the thought, a loud crash echoed through the room, splintering the silence. Books went flying as the cloaked figures began to flood through the doorway. Elena turned to him, eyes flaring with urgency. We don't have much time. You need to choose now. Are you ready to find out the truth? August's heart thundered in his chest as the shadows closed in, the storm howling around them. All he had to do was say yes. Would he embrace the truth, or let the darkness consume him? The weight of his choice pressed down on him as the door creaked ominously under the pressure of the encroaching night. The door exploded inward as the cloaked figures surged into the room. Shadows cascaded like water, filling every crack and crevice with palpable dread. August stumbled backward, his back hitting a bookcase, sending the tomes tumbling to the ground with a thunderous clatter that echoed through the space. August, focus. Elena's sharp voice cut through the chaos. Find the book. Find the book. The command echoed in his mind as he pushed through the fear choking him. He scanned the shelves, desperate. Titles faintly glowed in the dim light, mocking him. Knowledge was within reach, yet reality felt so far away. The figures advanced, their intentions clear. One stepped forward, pulling back their hood, revealing a face twisted in a grotesque smile. You can't run from the truth, August, the figure called, their voice dripping with malice. We will find what's hidden. You can't hide it forever. No. August shot back, shaking with fear. The anger bristled against his skin like static electricity. He could almost feel the shadows wrapping tighter around him. You won't take anything from me. Is that what you think? The figure chuckled, stepping closer, dark eyes gleaming. Once you open that book, there's no turning back. The truth about your past and the one you love will shatter everything. August's heart raced. Lila's name resonated in his soul like a warm embrace, urging him to fight. Could the truth really hurt more than the painful reality he had already lived? He swiveled around, eyes darting frantically. Here. Elena's voice broke through again, pulling him from the brink. She had found a small, leather-bound book, its edges frayed. With a swift motion, she shoved it into his hands. Open it. He clutched the book, fingers trembling. The shadows closed in on them like suffocating smoke, swirling menacingly, waiting for him to make the wrong choice. Don't listen to her. The figure shouted, trying to undermine their resolve. You know what's hidden within those pages. It's better to leave it buried. But the desire to uncover the truth had awoken something in him, something raw and untamed. August's breathing steadied, a fire ignited within his chest. He tore the book open against the encroaching darkness. As the pages unfolded, words shimmered, transforming into images that danced before his eyes. He saw moments of his life, Lila's laughter, the warmth of her touch, flashes of memories buried so deep he had thought they were lost forever. Then, shadows flickered, revealing a darker truth, betrayal, loss, and secrets that loomed like a black cloud above his reality. No, he gasped, his voice barely a whisper. Is this really all my life has been? Am I just a pawn in this game? Keep going, August, Elena urged, her voice fierce and unwavering. You have to uncover it all. The truth is your only weapon against them. With each turn of the page, the emotions swirled inside him. Fear wrestled with resolve, heartbreak clashed with hope. Visions of the cloaked figures surged forward, bloodied and vengeful, looking to reclaim what once was theirs. But mixed in those dark reflections were glimpses of light. He felt the possibility of redemption. Suddenly, a figure lunged for the book. August's instincts kicked in. He swung his body to shield it, determined that this time, he wouldn't lose control. It's mine! He yelled. But as he did, a blinding light erupted from the pages, growing brighter and more intense. The shadows recoiled, shrieking in anger as they were pushed back. August felt weightless, as if the truth itself had been waiting for his embrace, ready to defend him against the very darkness that sought to destroy him. In that moment, the reality around him twisted. The room spun, and he caught glimpses of Lila within the light, smiling back at him, pulling him towards a future filled with light. August. Don't let go. Elena's shout pulled him through the whirl, yet fear clawed at him. It's not over, they'll come back. His heart thundered as he fought to maintain focus, drowning in the brilliance. Would he trust what he saw, push through the light, or retreat into the safety of ignorance? As the brilliance intensified, engulfing everything, August felt a tug on his heart. This was the moment that could change everything, but what lay within the final pages, lost in the chaos? Would it reveal the full truth, or unleash horrors that would tear them apart forever? The world around August shattered like glass. He blinked, trying to grasp what was real. One moment he was staring into the incandescent glow of the book, the next, he was standing alone, surrounded by darkness so thick it felt like it could smother him. Where had Elena gone? Panic crept in, squeezing his throat like a vice. Elena. His voice echoed into the void, swallowed up by the shadows. He turned frantically, looking for her, but all that surrounded him was an oppressive silence, an emptiness that clawed at his essence. That he gripped the book tighter, its warmth lingering against his palms. Inside it, knowledge wrapped in mystery. Had he unleashed something greater than himself? Chills raced down his spine, but he couldn't abandon hope. But where had that light gone? Suddenly, faint whispers danced within the darkness, surrounding him like ghostly breath. You made your choice, one voice hissed, dripping with malice. You can't escape now. What do you want? August shouted into the void, his voice shaky but defiant. He felt small, but the fire ignited in his chest wouldn't let him be consumed. I'll never give in. Courageous, but foolish, replied a different voice, smooth and cold. Are you so sure you know the truth? Or will it bind you like the shackles of your past? A cold sweat broke out on his forehead. Memories surged, threatening to overtake him. His childhood filled with fear, the night Lila had disappeared, the betrayal that had left him hollow. To confront all that, to truly face it, was that his only path forward? August, stay with me. Elena's voice rang out again, clearer than before, like a beacon cutting through the murky depths. Somewhere, he could feel her presence tugging at his heart, urging him to seek her out. As if responding to her call, the air shifted, and he held the book to his chest, focusing. I accept my truth. He shouted, feeling adrenaline rush through him like liquid fire. Show me what I must face. The book's pages fluttered wildly, revealing images that swirled in the darkness, moments of happiness, sorrow, fear, and Lila. Her face appeared again, but this time twisted in despair. August, don't let them take you. She cried, her voice layered with urgency. No. He yelled back, feeling every emotion surge forward. I'm not losing you again. With a sudden burst of clarity, a shard of light broke through the darkness, slicing it like a knife. The whispers turned to screams, and the shadows retreated, showing flashes of what was to come. He saw glimpses of their world distorted, Lila caught in the clutches of the cloaked figures, and Elena, desperately fighting against uncertain odds. Out of the chaos emerged a figure cloaked in light, its face obscured by brilliance. Your choices matter, August, it intoned, a voice resounding through his core. You have the power to change destiny. Then tell me how. He cried, desperate to grasp at the remnants of hope dangling before him. I want to let fear dictate my path anymore. Unlock the final pages, the figure replied, fading just slightly. Truth awaits, but beware. The greatest challenges reveal your true self. You may confront the unyielding shadows of your past, but they can also be your greatest strength. Choose wisely. The darkness flickered, pulsating in a rhythm that felt alive. August's heartbeat synchronized with it, and he knew he needed to turn those pages again. With newfound determination, he whispered, I accept whatever truth comes next. He opened the book, feeling the electric energy coursing through him. But as the pages turned, symbols began to morph. They twisted, danced, and changed, revealing not only his past but also visions of his future. Suddenly, the shadows lunged, trying to grasp the edges of the light. You can't do this, August. The figures bellowed, rage wrapping around their voices. Don't you dare open what you can't control. But August stood tall, defiance burning fiercely in his gut. No. This is my life. I will shape my own future. In that moment, as visions of his past collided with the hope of his future, he felt ready. But just before the last words revealed themselves, the world trembled, and darkness encroached once more. What awaited in the final pages? Was he truly prepared to unleash the power that lay within, or would the shadows consume him whole? The pages began to glow, and as August focused on the light, it pulsated rhythmically, like a heartbeat. Each brush of the breeze around him felt charged, alive with potential. He couldn't let this slip away. Not again. Show me. He urged, his voice cracking with desperation. He felt Elena's warmth flickering just beyond his reach, and it fueled his resolve. The book vibrated in his hands, the symbols shifting more tumultuously, revealing flashes of intertwined destinies. But suddenly, the air grew sharp, pricking at his skin. The whispers grew louder, morphing into shrieks that clawed at his sanity. Shadows coalesced, forming grotesque figures, their malicious grins glinting against the light. You think you can just will your way through? One sneered, its voice like ice. August grit his teeth, the lump in his throat tightening with each echo. I won't bow to you. He yelled, more to convince himself than them. The shadows laughed, mocking his defiance. The spectral figures lunged forward, reaching for his heart. Feel the weight of your choices. They screeched, their grip growing ever tighter. In that instant, the memories rolled forward, each moment of regret, every time he had hesitated or turned away from the truth. A wave of guilt crashed over him, nearly dragging him under. But then he heard her again. Elena. August. Fight them. You have the light. Her words pierced through the chaos, cutting through the shadows that grasped at him. He turned his focus inward, feeling the fire within. The memories were as concrete as they were haunting, but what they offered was a choice. He could let them crush him or rise from them, stronger and more resolute. With renewed vigor, he shouted, I am more than my past. I accept my truth. The book flared alive, brighter than he had ever seen. The images began swirling faster, and suddenly, he was no longer just an observer. He was inside them, the laughter of Lila, the warmth of summer days, the pain of loss, and the sting of betrayal. Face it. He urged himself. The shadows hesitated, flickering at the weight of his determination. These are mine. They don't control me. Light exploded from the book, engulfing him as he committed each feeling to memory, each tear shed, each moment of weakness. And the darkness began to crumble around him, unable to withstand the force of his acceptance. But as the shadows faltered, a chilling voice echoed from their depths, piercing through the brightness. Foolish boy. You think light will save you? What if the truth reveals something you're not ready to see? What threat lingered beyond the veil of revelation? The whisper sent an icy tendril of fear coiling within him. The book trembled in his grip, its pages fluttering wildly as though filled with an unseen tempest. August caught flashes of visions: Elena in peril, Lila shouting through the shadows and darkened corridors, truths shifting and morphing into monsters. Open the final page, August. The cloaked figure of light resounded again, the voice now urging, filled with urgency. Do it. Urged Elena, her presence somehow closer amid the swirling chaos. But time was against him. The shadows were reforming, more ruthless, clawing for a second chance to bind him again. He took a deep breath, allowing the energy of the memories to surge through him. This was the moment. The truth awaited, splintered yet whole, a gamble against the darkness that loomed beyond. With a trembling hand, he surrendered to the energy, whispering, Here goes nothing. As he opened the last page, the world around him seemed to spin. What secrets would the final chapter unveil? And would he be prepared for the truth that awaited him? The moment August opened the final page, it was like stepping into a blinding light. The shadows that had loomed so fiercely began to peel away, revealing moments from his life, memories entwined with Lila's laughter and heartache. Each image lit up the deep corners of his mind, reminding him of hope and despair, love and loss. There she was, Lila. Her smile pierced through the darkness like dawn breaking after a long night. He felt her warmth, her spirit encompassing him, as if she were whispering, "You've got this." Hope surged within him, acting as an antidote to the fear that had once bound him. The darkness writhed and hissed, eager to re-establish its power, yet August stood firm. "I'm not afraid of you anymore," he shouted, the sound echoing off the walls. The shadows recoiled, losing their ominous presence with each declaration. "These memories are my strength. They shaped me, and now I choose to shape my destiny." As if the universe was bending to his will, the room illuminated. The once threatening figures froze, caught off balance. August focused on Lila's image, her courage igniting a fierce determination in him. "I will save you, Lila, no matter the cost." Suddenly, a shriek sliced through the air. The familiar voice of the cloaked figure erupted, "You think this light shields you? You don't know the truth yet, there are darker depths waiting for you." He stumbled back, their words echoing, but he gripped the book tighter. "I will risk it all to find the truth for Lila and for me." With a surge of adrenaline, August reached beyond the last page. He saw particles of light dancing like fireflies, illuminating truths about the crooked paths he'd taken and the pain he had caused. The shadows retreated, unaware as their hold weakened against the brightness. "Face what is hidden." The voice echoed, but August felt an inner calm. He was ready to confront the faces of his past, to own every scar, every regret. In the glowing haze, he began to see the cloaked figures falter. Their faces morphed, revealing former lives of abandoned children, neglected hopes, and trapped dreams. It struck him they were not just monsters, they were reminders of pain he had always aimed to ignore. "I understand you now," August said, voice steady though it shook with earnest emotion. "You're a part of my story, but not my master." The room vibrated in response, shadows encircling to take hold one last time. "You cannot escape yourself," they bellowed. But August put forth everything he had, every ounce of belief and light fueling his resolve. "I can't escape my past, but I can reshape my future. You will not bind me, nor will you swallow Lila." With that proclamation, a blinding light exploded from the book, engulfing the shadows and the dark figures, snuffing out their smirks and arrogance. In that flash, everything changed. August blinked, and when he opened his eyes again, he found himself standing in the library alongside Elena and a girl with bright, eager eyes, the familiar face of Lila. Tears streamed down her cheeks, yet a wide smile of relief blossomed on her face. "You found me, Lila." August gasped, rush of emotions overwhelming him. He ran to her, enveloping her in a protective embrace. "I thought I lost you forever." Lila leaned back, beaming up at him. "You fought for me. You didn't just see shadows, you uncovered the truth." "I will always fight for you," he vowed, the weight of their connection grounding him like nothing else. He turned to Elena, gratitude swelling within him. "Thank you for guiding me, for believing in the truth. Remember, August," she said softly, "it's your choices that shape what comes next. Hold on to this light and let it guide you." The atmosphere shimmered with a sense of hope, a strength woven from the lessons of the past and the dreams of the future. As August took Lila's hand, standing tall with Elena by his side, they stepped into a breath of fresh air, a new beginning pulsing vibrantly in front of them, and as they walked away from the shadows together, the light grew brighter, each step marking a promise of resilience and unity. Leaving behind the ghosts of yesterday and stepping boldly into the future, the trio had emerged triumphant from the darkness, hearts full with hope and love, ready to write a new story, one filled with laughter, strength, and healing. Now, here's your moment to embrace the adventure. You need to subscribe now to the channel so you don't miss out on the next exclusive stories. Smash that like button and feed the algorithm. And I want to hear your reactions. Flood the comments section with your thoughts and theories about this conclusion. Don't wait even one more second to share this incredible story with at least 5 friends who need to see this conclusion. Show your support, and let us keep this amazing community growing.